Es ist Balleschen geworden. Okay, jetzt Shaya, Shemen magst du sich. Hat sie mich gestraft. Shaya, shame on you. She scolded me. A Gemara bocher, a boy who's learning Gemara. Ich habe mich nicht geschämt. I wasn't ashamed, I wasn't embarrassed. Ich bin great gewesen, wegzugeben alle Gemoras in der Welt für ein Hirsche von a Viertel. I was prepared to give up all the Gemoras in the world to hear one whinny of a horse. Die samtige polische Wegen seinen Gewinn orme flache. The sandy Polish paths were poor, level. Aber in meinen Augen haben sie gehabt alle Genen in der Welt. But in my eyes, they were the most wonderful things in the world. Über den ganzen Weg haben Kiesig gepaschet. Junge Loschaklich seinen herumgelaufen über Lonkes.
Oh, Entschuldigung. Okay, if you could start again.
Okay, so über den ganzen Weg haben Kiesig gepaschet. Along the whole way, cows were
pasturing.
Pasturing, yeah. Junge Loschaklich seinen herumgelaufen über Lonkes. Young colts were running around in the field.
And I think the accent is Loschaklich.
Loschaklich, okay.
Yeah, the Aleph shouldn't be here, right?
Usually it's a Yud.
Yeah, okay, right. Poirem haben gearbeitet auf die Sunbagoste Felder. Peasants were working on the sun-drenched fields. Wir haben sie begrüßt mit hoher Broches in Polish, and we greeted them loudly with blessings in Polish. I'm not going to try and read the Polish. But Gott help, please God. Und sie haben geantwortet, and they answered, Zaplatsch, Gott soll bezahlen. God will grant, will pay. Die Reute tichlich über Kipp von Poiertes, die weiße Gänse, die gekreiselte Schäpselach, die gefleckte Kälblach, die Hint, die Vögel, alles hat sich geboten in der Sonne. So the red kerchiefs on the heads of the peasant women, the white geese, the curly sheep, little sheep, the dappled calves, the dogs, the birds, everything was bathed in the sun. Von niederige Poiersche Heislach mit streuende Dächer seinen gekreiselte räuchlich gegangen. From the low peasant houses with the thatched roofs. Smoke, curly smoke came out of the chimney. In viel Gattes seien die scheiblich gewinn von allerlei Kolieren. And in many of the huts, the panes of glass were of different colors. A viele die Vögel Schrecker, was seien gestanden auf die Felder zu vertreiben Kreuen, haben in meiner Augen 1000 Hähnen gehabt. Even the scarecrows, which stood in the fields to frighten away the crows, these were too wonderful in my eyes. Bloß die Slomim mit die hängendicke nackte Jäusler, verziert mit vertrickene Blumen. Even the crosses with the hanging naked Jesus figures on them were adorned with dried flowers on the heilige Mammas and the holy Marys, was seine gestanden auf die Wegen, seine gewinn fremd mit seiner avoide Zora in Gottes schöne Welt. And these, even these figures which stood at the wayside, they were strange with their idolatrous nature in God's beautiful world. Mama,
wonderful to listen to you again. I have not heard the word adorned. I don't know, maybe in 50 years. You know, decorated, adorned. This is thank you. Okay, Rafal, please continue.
Yeah, just one minor thing on the previous sentence. Blois di slomim, only. The only thing which was spoiling my beautiful appreciation of nature was only these crosses and these Madonnas that seemed to me strange in otherwise God's beautiful world. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Mama, ze dort habe ich gehalten in ein Anweisen. Mommy, just look. I kept on pointing. Ze, a bushel auf ein Fuß. A stork standing on one foot. Ze, a Weverekel springt über a Bäum. Look, a squirrel is jumping over on a tree. Die Mama hat geguckt mit große, graue Augen, was anstatt Simche ist treuer gewesen sei. My mother looked with her big gray eyes, which showed instead of happiness, sadness. Weist, als einmal in Eretz Yisrael der Beis Hamikdash ist Charav geworden, haben wir gehabt unsere eigene Felder. You know that once upon a time in Eretz Yisrael, before the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, we had our own fields. Jeden haben geackert und gesät, Weiber haben gepascht schäffelig. The men plowed and sowed. The women pastured the cattle and the sheep. Unsere Avos und Imas seien gewähnt Pastacher, also ist gewähnt Moshe Rabbeinu. Our forefathers and foremothers They were shepherds, just as our teacher Moses. Sroviden in Eretz Yisrael. Most of the Jews who were living in Eretz Yisrael. Heint sitzen die Goyim, jeder unter sein Weinstock und Feigenbaum. Now, it's the non-Jews who are residing there, everyone under his vine and fig tree. Und wir Jiden seinen Nebuch in Galus. And we, the Jews, are Nebuch in exile. Zeshant and Spot by the Felker, as a source of mockery for people, for the other peoples. Also hat sie gerät mit der Vetik in ihr Kohl und von ihrer große greue Augen sein gerunnen, große Tränen. So that's how she spoke, with pain in her voice, and from her large gray eyes, great tears descended. Keinmal hab ich nicht gesehen, mein Mames greue durchdringliche Augen, also weg wie demalt. Wenn sie hat, sitzendig auf der Flur, schön ausgemalt für uns, die Felder und Schäflach im Land von Israel. I had never seen my mother's gray, now how am I going to translate durchdringlich?
Penetrating.
Yeah, that's it. Penetrating eyes to be so soft as then when sitting on the cart, she pictured so beautifully for us the fields and the sheep in the land of Israel. Aber ich hab nicht gekannt vergessen in mein Fried, was hat mich bewältigt. But I couldn't forget my joy, which was overcoming me. Bald haben wir sich abgestellt in Dorf Sensamin. We soon stopped in the village Sensamin, wo es haben gewohnt etliche Dorfsjiden, where there were a few village Jews living, a pachter by Pritzim. They were, a pachter is a leaseholder or a tax farmer in the land of the nobility. Eus gehungert nach a Yid, haben sie uns begegnet mit Fried. Hungry to see another Jew, they met us with joy. Eus gefragt sich wegen Mishpache in Lenchin. They asked us about family in Lenchin. Und Eus getragen für uns frische Milch und Lemene Teplach, maybe in Lemene Teplach. And they brought us out fresh milk. I'm going to translate this as in clay jars.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Shall I continue?
Uh,
All
okay,
right,
let's have Susan.
Susan.
Then we'll go back. Yeah, Susan.
You're muted.
Soll die Rebbetzin mit die Kinder getrinken Gesundheit? Let the Rebbetzin with her children drink in good health. Haben sie sich gebeten, they asked us. As wir haben die Schie to honor to receive such guests. Die Weisel über welchen wir haben gedarft über Schiffen. The Vistula River over which we had to take the ship is gewein Faliendicke. Oh, it was very stormy. It was a lot of waves. Und begossen mit Silber and reflecting silvery. Die Mama hat gemurmelt etliche Tfille?
Stille Tfilis.
Mama hat gemurmelt. Stille Gefühle. The mother murmured still prayers, jede small, each time. Was das feuerische Schiffel hat sich gegeben a boy. Every time the ship gave a bend or a move, a boy, a bend, oder a hoide or a dip, über die Chwalias over on the waves. Aber mir is davon geworden ungeheuer gut, but for me it was especially good. Es hat der Mond in Chumash, it reminded me of the Chumash, wegen Yom Suf, about the Red Sea, was die Jiden seinen übergegangen, which the Jews went over the Red Sea.
Yeah,
Well, okay. Ungeheuer is gewein mein Begeisterung. I was full of exhilaration when mir seinen Aufn der Dampfschiff, when we got up on the steamship, was gewein full mit allerlei Personen, which was full with many people, Goyim und Jiden, non-Jews and Jews. Noch etliche Show haben wir gesehen. After a few hours, we finally saw Warsaw. Die hohe Häuser, die Brücken, the high brick houses. Und unser Schiff
Bricken are bridges.
Oh, the bricking. Oh, okay. And the bridges, the high buildings, the bridges. Unser Schiff is gegangen unter a brick. Our ship went under a bridge. A Weile hab ich gezittert. For a while I was shaking, weil es hat ausgesehen von der Weiten, because it looked from the distance, as wir wollen unschlugen die Käumens von der Schiff in der brick, as we're going to hit the chimneys of the other ship will bang into the bridge. Aber wir haben nicht umgeschlagen, but we didn't hit it. Und durchgeglitscht, and we slid under the brick, and we slid under the bridge. Was hat gezittert von vorn, which shook with the going through it.
I think
No,
foreign
foreign.
Omnibussen.
carriages.
Oh, excuse me, which shook from the vehicles, omnibussen, the buses, tramwayen, streetcars, und Menschen, and the people by the Bregen haben wir gesehen, Cherkessen, and people by the bridges. We saw Cherkessen. That's some kind of ethnic group. The
Is it
Cherkess.
Turks, no?
Oh, would it be the Turks? I don't know. We saw this ethnic.
That's what I've always known, that Cherkess, they're Turks.
Well, they're from Circassia, which is a little to the north
Oh,
of Turkey.
Circassian, maybe, yes.
That's it.
The Circassians riding of Pferd. They rode on their horses. Their schwarze, lange Mantel, and their long, dark, black coats, or futterne Hit, and their fur hats haben fantastisch ausgesehen in der sonnige Luft. They looked fantastic in the sunny air.
So can I continue?
Okay, so
Das erste Mal bin ich gewesen ein bisschen unruhig, wenn wir haben sich Der Nenter zu Warsche. This was the first time that I became a little restless or worried when it came closer to Warsaw. Tommy, wenn wir fliegen wollen fahren kein Warsche, haben die Größe uns gesagt, als Englach da hin nicht fahren, weil bei dem Teuer von der Stadt steht eine größere Käfe, gemacht von Eisen, und jeder Jüngel, was geht ihr vorbei, muss ihr einen Kuss geben und darf nicht in kein schönen Ort. So, usually when we would go to Warsaw, the grown-ups would tell us that boys should not travel there because by the gate of the city there stands a big female made out of metal, out of iron, and each boy that passes by her must kiss her, and not particularly in a nice place. Ich habe darüber gehalten, in ein Fragen der Mamen, wo die eiserne Käfe ist. Therefore, I kept asking my mother where the iron female was. Die Mama hat geschmeichelt und gesagt, dass das Redman bloß ein Englach. Sie soll nicht mitfahren. So my mother smiled and said that this is what they only say to boys, so they shouldn't want to travel with the grown-ups. 1 second, I have to change my sitting position. Okay. Ich habe sich der viel leichter, wenn wir sind in Europa von der Schiff und genommen a Droschke zu dem Nadwisljanske, I don't know, bis ich mamisch zu Tummel geworden von den Schenkeiten von der größeren Stadt. So, I already felt lighter, felt better when we came off the ship, the boat, and we took a coach. This is the name of a place, I believe.
Yeah, it's a particular Vokzal. It's a particular railway station called Nadwisljanska.
Oh, okay. So I really became overwhelmed from the beauty of the big city. Ich habe gedreht den Kopf in alle Seiten, nicht wissendig, wo früher zu sehen. I moved my head in every direction, not knowing where to look first. Auf dem Vauxhall is given a Behole, a tumult. At the station, there was like
A commotion.
a commotion. Thank you. Yeah. Menschen haben sich gestuft, gestoßen, geschrien. People were pushing, and gestuft and gestoßen are synonyms, aren't they? And they were yelling. Große Gendarmen haben sich herumgedreht mit paradene Tritt. Big policemen were walking around with parade steps, like with marching steps. Yeah, ich hab gezittert vor seiner Blick. I was afraid of their look. Überhaupt hab ich Morgen gehabt vor meine flachsene Bindlach PS. weil es pflegt treffen, als Gendarmen pflegen aufschneiden in jüdische Päs, was ist gewesen verboten zu tragen Leuten Gesetz. Amazing. So I was particularly worried about my Päs that were flaxen, that are flax-like, and they were tied, probably bintlach, probably tied behind the ears. I understand, because sometimes it would happen that policemen would cut off a Jewish Päs, because this was forbidden. It was forbidden to wear Päs by law. Es hat mich nicht geehrt, die Päs, weil ich habe sie nicht übrigens lieb gehabt. I didn't care much about the Päs because I didn't particularly like them. Aber mir pflegt sagen, als die Gendarmen scheren sie nicht ab, nur schneiden sie ab mit einem Messerl, was tut stark weh. But it was said that the policemen don't shave them, but they cut them off with a knife, and that hurts a lot. Aber die Gendarmen haben mir die Päs nicht abgeschnitten, but the policeman did not cut off my Päs. Die Mama hat uns, mich und meine Schwester gewarnt zu halten, sich bei die Hand und nicht herabgehen auf eine Weile von die Päcklach vor der Zeit, wo sie wird stehen in der Reihe beim Kaufen Billetten. So my mother warned my sister and myself. She said that we should hold each other's hands and not get off the packages before it's time, that she would stand online buying tickets. Okay. Janke, please continue.
Okay. Tome wird auch immer zu willen weisen etwas oder schicken a Gang, sollt ihr nicht gehen, weil die Stadt ist voll mit Ganovim. So if someone wants to show you something or send you to do something, you shouldn't go because the city is full of thieves. Hat sie uns angesagt. She announced to us. Und halt sich bei die Hand. Ihr sollt nicht verloren werden in großen Tumult. And hold each other's hands, that you shouldn't get lost in this big commotion. Versteht sich, als ich hab mich nicht gekannt einhalten. It's clear that I couldn't restrain myself. Und bin gegangen gucken in alle Winkel und Löcher. And I went looking in all the corners and in all the holes. Nicht zuhörendig sich zu die Warnischen von mein Schwester. And I didn't listen to the warnings of my sister. Beim Einsteigen in dritten Klasse hat sich getan Cheuschech. When we climbed into the third class carriage, it was getting dark. alle haben sich gestüppt, geworfen.
Sorry. Ja, hat sich getan Choshech, to me, it's like an idiom. It was like a mess. Go on. Yeah.
So, beim Einsteigen in dritten Class hat sich getan Chayshech. As soon as we got into the third class carriage, it was very troubling. Alle haben sich gestupt, geworfen Peck, gemacht Keiles. Everyone was pushing and shoving, throwing their baggage around and making noise. Die Gendarmen und Konduktoren haben gesiedelt. The police and the conductors were cursing. Weiber haben geseder verloren Kinder und geschrien hysterisch. Women kept losing their children and they were hysterically calling out. In die Waggonen haben die Passagieren gearbeitet meisem. In these wagons, the carriages, the passengers were now gearbeitet meisem. They were doing great deeds. They were
They were very busy. They were very busy.
They were very busy. Good. Men hat vergabt Plätze. They grabbed places, oberste Bank and benches, high benches. Goyim und Jiden haben sich durchgewürtelt über einen Platz. Jews and non-Jews were trading words about a place to sit. Deutsch gekleidete litwische Jiden, was bei uns hat man als solche nicht gesehen, haben geschleppt Onaschier Valises, Chainikes, mit kochedig Wasser. The Lithuanian Jews, dressed in short jackets, whom we never would see otherwise, they were dragging endless valises and Chainiks and tea kettles with boiling water. Weiber haben gesäugen Kinder gegessen. Women were suckling, were giving the breast to children, and they were eating. Jeden haben gleich genommen machen am Minyan und davenen Betzibur in Waggon. The Jews immediately set up a minyan, and they were davening together in a wagon. Die Litvakes haben gespielt in Korben, getrunken Tee und gelacht von die polnische Schmähers. The Lithuanian Jews, they were playing cards, they were drinking tea, and they were laughing at these Polish Schmähers. That's Itchik Meir. That's a name they would give. Itchik Meir is a name of a person, so they would call the Polish Jews Schmähers. Die Polnische haben sie zurückgerufen Tselemkop, and the Polish Jews called the Lithuanian Jews back with a name, a Tselemkop, crucifix head. My Mutter,
Entschuldig mir,
okay. Die Polnische haben sie zurückgerufen Tselemkop, and the Polish Jews called the Lithuanian Jews crucifix heads. Mein Mutter pflegt es nicht leiden. My mother just couldn't stand it. Aber bei mir hat das alles gehabt 1000 Tränen. But I thought that it all was marvelous. It had 1000 graces. Ich habe euch nicht durchgelost, zu haben einen Blick in draußen durch die Waggonfensterlech und sehen, wie die Wälder, Felder, Dörfer, Telegrafslupes und peurische Heislech laufen zurückwegs mit Maschinendickigkeit. I also didn't omit grabbing a glance outside through the windows of the carriage to see how the forests and the fields and the villages and the telegraph poles and the peasant houses were running backwards with a wild speed. Let me read one more paragraph here.
Okay.
Tamid fliegt die Mama haben sich suchen mit die Schmeissers in der Bahn. Mother kept having arguments with the Schmeissers in the train, and he'll explain what that is. Literally, it's the beaters. Die Schmeißer seien gewesen Jiden, was haben abgemacht mit die Konduktoren und verkauft sie Passagieren, was fahren an Billetten. The Schmeissers, that was Jews who had made an agreement with the conductors, and they would sell out the passengers who were traveling without tickets. Einem als Schmeisser, gedenk ich, wollt mir noch jetzt gestanden vor die Augen. I remember one of these Schmeissers as if he were still in front of my eyes. Das ist gewesen ein Jidl mit a Gelbärtel, angetan in a Gelchalatel, über welchen es ist gewesen verworfen a geller lederner Betel. So this was a little Jew with a yellow beard, blonde, dressed in a yellow jacket, covering which there was thrown a yellow leather betel. What's that?
Vital, a bag.
A bag. Okay. Yes. Thank
A bag.
you. A bag.
You
Right.
know.
Everything's yellow. Und das
Ja.
gelle Jidl hat sich rack geeilt und ausgestreckt seine gellhorrige, bewachsene Hand beim Aufmonnen Bahngeld. So this yellow little Jew, he was only rushing about, and he was stretching out his yellow-haired, his hands covered with yellow hair to demand train money.
Thank you. Reform. Is Yankev here?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, you want to continue?
Okay.
You had to stop.
Yeah.
Before.
My
Yeah.
my computer gave up the ghost.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Asaf, a halb Kerbel für ein paar schöne Herr, Eden Weiber. So, come on, half a coin per person for men and women. Stocke Zeit. There's no, I haven't got time. Hat gesagt und gesammelt halbe Kerblich. And that's what he said as he was collecting these half coins.
I think what's happening is people are traveling often without tickets, and so they're bribing him not to give them away.
Yeah, but they pay him something.
They're paying him, yes, half a coin.
That's a lower fee. Yeah.
And the conductors turn a blind eye to this whole.
Because he gets a piece of the action as well.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Mit demselben Tummel hat gich übergezählt mein Mammen, die Schwester und mich, und geheißen sich bezahlen a Kerbel und a halbs. So with in the same tumult, he counted my mother, my sister, and myself, and he told her that she should pay a coin and a half. Gicher Weibel, schneller, stocke Zeit. Der Malach Amavis et bald onkommen, a rois mit dem Mamtokim. So quickly, woman, quickly. We haven't got time. The Malach Amavis, the conductor, is going to come soon. Bring out the Mamtokim, the coins, the sweets, the candies. Wenn mein Mama hat ihm gewiesen, als sie hat Billetten, ein ganzen Billett für sich und 2 halbe für die Kinder, hat das Jidl sie gesiedelt mit der Blotte zugleich. So when my mother showed him that she had tickets, a full ticket for herself and 2 half tickets for the children, he cursed her down to the ground, to the mud. A mitzvah in Fonya Ganev. So it's a mitzvah to steal from Fanya, from the Russians. What gemacht Keules, he shouted. Shemen mekte sich, you should be ashamed of yourself. By a yid zunemen a penosa, that you should take away a livelihood from a Jew. Der Konduktor, was man hat ihm gerufen, der Malach HaMovos, hat beis gestempelt die Billetten unsere und gecheppet sich, als mir Kinder seinen zu groß für halbe Billetten. So the conductor, whom they called the angel of death, stamped the tickets, our tickets, and he grumbled, he picked a quarrel, saying that we children were too big for half tickets. Die übrige Passagieren, was haben kein Billetten nicht gekauft, haben kein Asokim mit ihm nicht gehabt. So the rest of the passengers, those who hadn't bought tickets, didn't have any dealings with him. Bloß die, was haben sich ausbehalten unter die Bank, haben gehabt Zorros von ihm. Only those who were hiding themselves under the seats, they had problems with him. Mein Mama pflegt murmeln, als jeden darf man solche Sachen nicht tun, weil es ist Achillul Hashem. My mother was mumbling that the Jews shouldn't do such things because it's a desecration. It's a disgrace, a desecration of God's name. Die Jiden on Billetten haben gelacht von ihr, and those Jews who didn't have tickets laughed at her. Ihr hat sich gekannt, einbringen a paar Kerblech. You could have brought a few coins, haben sie geteilt. They claimed. Von ihr Ganev es et nicht bedalles werden. The Russian Ganev won't suffer from poverty.
Susan
Thank
raised
you.
her hand.
Yeah, yes, I have. When they're making fun of some of the speaking, and it's a particular dialect, I've heard that before, where they say for you, ets, and
that's a dialect.
Pinusa instead of Parnusa. Do you know what group of people that is?
It's Warsaw.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the Warsaw
the-
dialect.
What is it?
It's the dialect of Warsaw and central Poland in general. Etz and Ank for
yes.
you all. And often he's taking off the initial Vav, so Et instead of Vet, and Ka instead of Cain. That's essentially Warsaw dialect.
Oh, okay, I knew I had heard it somewhere, but
Yeah, thank you, Reform. You ought to have lived in the building where I grew up. There were Polish Jews like that. There was every kind of Jew. So yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Okay. Susan, go on.
okay, where are we exactly?
Die Mama
Der
hat,
Mama.
Die Mama hat uns geseder gewarnt. My mother went on to warn us. Wir sollen nicht weggehen von Ort. We shouldn't leave our place. Wir sollen sich halten by the hand. We should hold each other's hands. Wir sollen nicht verlaufen werden. We shouldn't run away. Aber bei
We shouldn't get lost, verloren. Susan.
verloren, we shouldn't get lost.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Aber bei alle Vorenischen seien wir einmal Jahr verloren geworden. But despite these constant, all these repeated warnings, we did once get lost. Ich gedenk nicht genau. I don't remember exactly. Was ist es gewesen? What exactly happened? Sie man hat gedarft übersteigen. If we had to, what would be übersteigen?
Change trains.
Oh, whether we had to change trains, see their locomotive is kaputt geworden, or the locomotive broke down. Aber plötzlich haben alle genommen Stoßen, but all of a sudden everybody began to push. Stoßen sich und laufen. They pushed one another and ran. Etwas a Jid hat geheißen, mein Mutter nehmen ihre Päcklich. And one of the Jews told my mother to take her suitcases. Und allein hat uns Kinder genommen vor die Hand. And he himself took us kids by the hand und gestuppt sich in a Wagen rein and pushed ourselves into a wagon. Wenn die Bahn hat sich schon gerührt, it pushed us, it would be one of the cars, the other cars.
In a wagon.
It's one of the cars on the train, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wenn a Bahn hat sich schon gerührt, when the train moved, haben wir sich herumgesehen, als die Mama is nicht da. When the train began to move, we looked around and we saw our mother was not there. Meine Schwester hat genommen weinen. My sister began to cry. Ich hab nicht geweint, weil dus mein weinen is mir fremd. I didn't cry because crying was strange to me, something I didn't do. Afilu in der größte Zure, even in the worst trouble. Jeden seinen zugekommen und genommen ins Ausfragen. Jews came up to us and began to ask us. Bei einer Astancia hat man uns genommen. And one particular station, they took us von Wagon, from that car, und übergegeben zu a hohen gendarme. And they gave us over to a tall gendarme, a policeman of this. Ich hab gezittert for meine payas. I was scared to death because of my payas. Und von mein ganze Leib und Leben and for my whole well-being. Weil von Kindweis un pflegt man mich schrecken mit Polizianten, because from my childhood on, they always warned me about the police. Aber der Gendarm hat gur ungenommen uns by the hand, but the Gendarm just took us by our hands, geführt uns über rails, and he took us walking over the rails, über welche rote und grüne Feierlich haben gefinkelt, over which red and green flames were flaming, were sparkling. Noch hat uns reingeführt in a Stube. After that, he took us into a house, wo Menschen,
It's really a room.
a building maybe.
A room.
Stube in Yiddish, it's also, it's a room.
A room. Oh, he took us in a room.
Yeah, yeah.
Menschen mit Knepp haben geklappt by Maschinenglach, were people with badges, were writing on typewriters. Und vielmal der Mond dem Numen von der Mammen Sheva, and many times said again her name Sheva Zinger. Dennoch hat man uns wieder eingesetzt in a Bahn. So after that, they put us back down in a train. Auf jener Stanzie hat der Gendarm geführt uns. To another, the gendarme took us to another station in der finstere Nacht, in the dark of night, und gerufen leben parallelen ständigen Zug, and called
I found for Zug, it could be a train or a procession. So you tell me what it is.
It's a train.
ständigen.
Train.
What is it?
It's a train.
A train, okay.
He called out to the parallel, just across to the parallel train.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
a train was stopped on the rails next to it, yes. Sheva Zinger, it's the name of the mother was calling. Plötzlich haben wir der Sein die Mammen. Suddenly we saw our mother. Sie hat uns herumgehabt, geweint und gelacht zusammen. She hugged us, she cried and laughed together. As men is ungekommen kein Rivets, when we arrived at Rivets, it's another place name, haben die Bilgereier Balagulas uns gleich herübergenommen in sehr gracious. So when we got to when we got to riots, the Bilgerai Balagulas took us under their authority. Machne Jiden mit Beitschen in die Hand seinen uns befallen. A bunch of Jews with whips in their hands ran over to us, fell on us, gerissen die Päcklach von die Hand, grabbed our packages or our suitcases from our hands, und jeder hat geschleppt uns zu sein Boyd, and each one pulled us towards his wagon. Then Fortman, when do you want to go? Shine me et nor unpoilen. As soon as, and these are speaking like kind of in a dialect, right away, as soon as we would uppoiren the fair, as soon as we can give water to the horses, und heida, and off we go. Haben die Balagulas geteinet, the Balagulas complained. Rein warfen dick unsere Päcklach in der Beuterein, throwing our packages, our suitcases in the wagon. Was is schon gewein ungestoppt mit Päck und Säck, which was already filled up with packs and sacks. Fässer und Fässerlach, big kegs and little kegs. More?
Okay, go on.
Kommt Kinder rein in Einfuhrhaus. Come on, children, come into the inn, hat die Mama gesagt, mother said. Nicht gläubendig die balagulische Hiftachas.
Avtoches, that's promises.
It's assurances, right?
Yeah, right.
The mother said, not believing the assurances, it's come from betach, right? Of the Bible.
Bitochon. Me darf haben Bitochon in God, you know. That's Bitochon.
Als men wird bald fuhren, wie nur men wird untrinken die Pferd. Not, she didn't believe that we would go as soon as the horses were given enough to drink.
Sorry, Susan, one thing. Yes, I said the Valegoles getainet, you said they complained. Tainen can be complained, but here they stated, they said,
Maybe they insisted.
maybe they insisted, but they didn't complain here.
Didn't complain.
They pleaded.
Okay, okay. I guess it's time to leave.